Hello everybody and welcome to another live stream with me, Harry Partridge. And today we're going to be working on the comic tropes intro that I was working on a previous live stream, and we're going to be generating one of the background characters. You can already see a couple here sketched in, and we're going to be adding a new one in today. Maybe not finishing him off completely, but getting the bulk of it done. I'm going to try and keep things kind of simple and kind of easy because it's a background character. Get it done as quickly as possible. Very quickly though, I am going to head out and click out, share out, what am I saying, a link of the stream, trying to think and talk at the same time. Let everybody know that I am live streaming currently, and then we can get on with the show. So just give me a second there, guys. As you can see, we've got a kind of Conan the Barbarian stand-in. We have a kind of Superman type character flying past as well, and Howard the Duck stand in as well. And actually a couple of these have been finished. We can actually go ahead and add them in directly into the shot before we get underway with the live stream proper, and hopefully that will be kind of fun for you to see some finished animation and then some rough animation, sort of a before and after type thing. So I'm just going to let people know that I am live streaming. Share that link. Keep circulating the links. Okay. Alrighty, so as you guys can probably see, let me just open up a drink. That wasn't my bone breaking. That was a beverage being opened up. As you can see, we've got this Conan type rushing at Chris. Chris is, of course, the host of the Comic Tropes show, and he is sort of the star, the avatar of the intro. Of course, that only makes sense because he's the presenter and the writer of the show. Comic Tropes is a great behind-the-scenes, well, not just behind the scenes, a lot of things. Comic analysis, comic history, a little comic behind the scenes, you know, the stories of how comics were made or who made them. But it's a really great channel. I definitely suggest you check it out. I can see, in fact, the Comic Tropes himself, Chris, is in the chat, so I've got to be on my best behavior. But yeah, as you can see, part of the intro, I'll just show you. This is a very rough version. A lot more has been done, but I'll kind of give you an idea of what it's all about. Let me just show you the intro here. So more work has been done beyond this point, and I can actually share a little bit of that with you. So as Chris kind of drops down here into this comic book world, you can see a few characters go past, like we've got this Howard the Duck type character here, and we actually, what I did is I rough animated this, and this is not the rough, this is kind of a quasi animatic, like 2 or 3 frames. I actually did like a full rough animation of that, and a couple of keyframes and a color guide, and I sent it to my assistant Yap, who produced this, and he gave me these frames back. So this is actually our finished Howard the Duck. Now the timing isn't quite right there. The timing would be more like this, probably like a long stretch of him not moving and then probably going down. We'll keep it on 2s, which is equivalent to 12 FPS, and then something like that. So, and then we probably loop the frames at the end of him waving his arms. So let me just go ahead. But Yap did an amazing job. See, I did a bunch of these drawings. I know I did this one, and I did this one too. Yeah, I did this one, and then I did like 2 of these. I think I did that one and that one. But I mean, you would not be able to tell that Yap did the drawings that went in between. I mean, he did an amazing job. He is so good at taking my drawings and completely matching them. And he did a kick-ass job on all of these. So that's Howard the Duck, or like a Howard the Duck stand-in. I'm kind of keeping it vague as to if these are actually real characters or just sort of stand-in versions. But we're going to copy and paste that Howard the Duck and actually put him for real in the actual shot, and that would be kind of cool. So let me see, he's on the layer above as Chris runs past. So what we can do is actually go in here, and you can see that's like my very rough animatic quality animation, just 3 frames. So I'm going to go in and just create like a movie clip or a graphic. Yeah, we'll call it a graphic, and we'll stick our Howard the Duck animation actually in the shot take a while. The timing's probably going to be off still, but I could roughly line him up with where we're going to need him. Delete the old animation, and then something. Okay, so he's coming in like way too late because we want him to basically he's got to be on screen for a lot longer than that. So something like this. Okay. All right. Yeah, he's coming up too late there, but that's gonna work. It just needs to be timed out a little bit differently. So we've got our duck character going past. That'll kind of work. I'll fix the timing later on. We'll get into it, but I can show you a couple of the other characters too. Our flying hero over here, I've done the color keys and the rough animation. In fact, yeah, you can see he is rough animated. If I isolate him, you can basically see that every frame of this character has been animated. It's just that Yap needs to come in and clean them up and color them. I did like 3 or 4 frames of that one and colored them for him, so he has like a guide. But we have our Conan character come rushing in too, our barbarian dude, and this one was animated as well by me, so every frame I feel is not quite a tie down, but it's kind of close enough as far as you can. Oh yeah, actually no, I did a little bit more work on it from this point before I sent it to Yap. It still needs a few frames to kind of flesh it out a little bit. It's obviously missing a little bit and it's a bit sort of choppy, but it's nearly at that stage. And we can replace him with the finished animation. So let me go. I think here it is. I'm already seeing, I mean, again, like Yap did a kick-ass job on that. He's so good. I'm gonna say I did this frame, and I did this frame, and I'm already noticing a couple of tiny coloring errors, but that's easily fixed. Just areas where you can see the background popping through. So I did this frame, did the first frame, and then I did the last frame once he's actually landed. And again, Yap probably has a smaller monitor than me, so these little tiny gaps, they're not usually a problem, but if you have a brightly colored background, it can kind of pop through. Or like we're having a moving background, so it may be that you sort of see like a bit of the background through the gap in his hair there. So we'll fix that. I don't think I'll fix that today on stream, but that is totally gonna work. It just needs to be retimed. So let me go ahead and put it all on 2s, because we're gonna keep it on 2s just because it's kind of, you know, it's gonna be too fast otherwise. Whooshing like that. So that's cool. All right, let's actually copy that one in too. This is fun. You get to see things come into existence very quickly when they've already been animated and we're just dropping them into the shot. So let me go ahead and find our. In fact, we'll open another movie clip. I keep calling them movie clips. They're graphics. So technically, if it's Adobe Animate, if you can watch it running back in the timeline, it's a graphic and not a movie clip. Put that in. There he is. And oh yeah, there was something I wanted to do with this one actually, because we're going to need him to be on the screen. Let me see. So he starts about frame 11 is he actually lifts his sword up. So try and time that up with the original. So now, oh no, still not quite in sync. What are we doing? What have I done wrong? Oh, I know what I've done. I think some of these need to be on 1s to actually keep in sync. So put that one on a 1. Something like that maybe. Well, we can figure it out later. I'm sure something like that will work. And you guys can look at it play back. So we've got, we just turn off the pasteboard mode here. I know it's still very messy. We've got so much work to do still, but we've got Howard the duck in the foreground there, and then kind of Conan runs in, something like that, you know, as Chris comes in, and I think that'll work pretty nice. I'm probably going to do something because I don't like the sword being on the screen there, not moving. So I'll probably sort of animate the sword kind of coming from lower and sort of rotating up, just so it looks like the guy's in motion the whole time. You see, it looks like basically until this point he's completely static. I can kind of cheat that, seeing as it's only the sword we'll need to animate. I can actually make it so that he runs in and whooshing, and it looks like he's kind of actually kept the run. He's been running for like a couple of seconds, not just standing there waiting for Chris to go past like he's some kind of trap in a maze or something. He's actually going to be like a fully animated character. And then we've got one more, I guess you'd call it a character, this big tentacle that goes past. Not really based on anything, but to me it kind of represents like 1950s sci-fi comics or something like that. We have this guy. So I animated this one, like I did a rough version of every frame, colored in and cleaned up a couple, and then sent it over to Yap, my excellent and talented and hardworking assistant, and who I am paying, by the way. Just so you know, he is being paid for his efforts. A very, very competitive rate. Well, competitive from, hang on. If it's a competitive rate, it means it's a good amount. No, it's not. He's not really getting paid very well. Yap is in his last year of school, and his school asked him to do an internship for a couple of months, and he asked me if I would let him intern for me, and I said yes, but I insisted on paying. So I'm a great guy. I'm a nice guy. What can I tell you? What a saint. And I made him an offer, and he was like, yeah, that's basically the minimum that I'm allowed to accept. I think his school asked him to accept. Like, they won't let these kids go out and work for total peanuts. They're like, no, you have to at least earn this amount of money. And my offer barely squeaked past. So he's being paid. All right, so this is this tentacle that we've got here, which we're going to copy and paste in. And I don't think I'm putting that in a movie clip, although I probably should, just so it's easy to move around and recolor and stuff. That's why I put things inside clips. Like if we go into our Conan character here, you see, if I grab him, like if I press play, the animation will play back like that. But if I want to move the clip around and do weird stuff with it like that, the whole thing will then, you know, animate in a different position. That's why it's just, rather than move every frame individually, it makes a lot more sense to put all of your frames inside a clip, and then you can shift the clip and resize it and do all that kind of stuff. So it makes it a lot easier. Okay. Actually, that's a good point. Could have been better production says, if you made it purple, could have been interpreted as Starro. Yeah, Starro's the big starfish creature in DC Comics. Although, I mean, he's a starfish. He's not really... This looks a little bit too ambulatory and soft to be a starfish, but I know what you mean. Like, I was thinking more of a kind of a squid, like a squid alien, like a Kang and Kodos type character. But we will grab our frames here that Yap did a good job of coloring and cleaning up, and I'll put that on the layer above Chris because it's technically going in front of Chris. And then we'll get on with our main part of today's show, which is actually animating a brand new character to put in this shot. So let me just stick these in. Something like this. Again, I'm probably going to have to play with the timing on all of these just a little bit, but like whips over Chris's head there. So it sort of looks like he's just narrowly avoiding getting smacked by some disgusting alien creature. So now, if we look at the intro, we can let the music play. You get beginning to get a slightly better kind of picture of what this thing is going to look and feel like, with a few of the characters actually colored and added in. Yeah, you start to get the picture. Now there's going to be even more characters, like, for example, I talked to Chris this week about putting in some other characters. We've got a flying hero going past in the background over here. We have... oh yeah, he's barely represented. There's just this guy in a hat here. That guy's been animated too, but he's being cleaned up at the moment. Actually, no, I haven't sent it to Yap to be cleaned up. He is going to be... maybe I can open... Maybe I can open some images and actually show you. Yeah, here you go. So this is what I send over to Yap as like a coloring guide showing. So this is our flying hero. That's like obviously how he's going to be colored. And then also the other guy, the guy in a hat, is based on a very specific character called 7-Eleven. well, 711, which if you are a fan of terrible old comic books, go to the Comic Tropes YouTube channel and check out his review, Chris's review of 711. This is like a noir superhero type character who is completely mind-blowing in how ridiculous the whole setup is. He's a superhero that lets himself get arrested, or he goes to prison willingly, and his secret base of operations basically is the prison. He leaves prison every night to go out and fight crime, and his inmate number is also his superhero number, 711 or 711, and no one can put the two together, that this guy leaves prison. The prisoner 711 leaves prison every night, goes out, fights crime, comes back in the morning, and no one can figure out that why is he in prison? He doesn't need to be in prison if he didn't commit a crime. It's just so stupid. Anyway, so check that out. Check out 711, the review on the Comic Tropes channel. So yeah, we're going to put him in the shot too. We have other characters, like I talked to Chris yesterday about adding some new people in, and where is she? I was working on her just earlier. Oh yes, so yeah, we have like he recommended sort of a horror type character. So I've been I actually animated this today and yesterday. I didn't give this one to my assistant Yap because it's kind of an easy one. If it's really, really easy work, I don't want to waste his time doing it. I'd rather do it. And if it's easy, it's like, well, it's just easy, I'll do it. So, for example, we have this anime Japanese schoolgirl type character, but she doesn't have a face. How terrifying. So I animated this little turnaround today, and the green lines are just to separate the areas of shading. I'm actually going to make her black and white, so she sort of looks like a Junji Ito character a little bit. She's in the background, so she's not very detailed, and it's just this little quick animation of her turning. And I'm going to add some kind of effect to her, like some kind of creepy grey smoke around her, so she sort of looks like a ghost or a wraith of some kind. I think that'd be kind of cool. And I have started coloring her already, but I couldn't find the file a minute ago. So wherever that file has gotten to, I'll have to track it down and finish it up. But that brings us to the final part of today's stream. Well, not the final part, the meat of today's stream. That was the appetizer, okay? Now we've got to get to actually creating a new character for the shot, and I'm thinking it's getting kind of crowded at this point, but I'm thinking towards the end of the shot we could actually sneak somebody in, just coming in here, just coming in the very background very quickly. And I didn't actually get Chris's opinion on this. I said this is something I want to do, and he didn't say don't do it, so I guess we're all good. But this is a little tribute that I want to do to one of my favorite comic book artists, Rob Liefeld. So I'm going to stick very quickly a simple little Rob Liefeld character in the background. Chris on the Comic Tropes YouTube channel has technically reviewed some work by Rob Liefeld. He's talked about his art, so I think it makes sense. It still fits kind of in that context to have a Rob Liefeld tribute. And I'm thinking of just putting somebody in very small in the background, firing off some guns, okay? Something like that. And I don't even think we'll have them run in. I think we'll just have them dive in. And I think it will make sense given the kind of characters that Rob Liefeld drew. So let's talk a little bit about Rob Liefeld, okay? Rob Liefeld is a controversial character in the comics world. He's an artist and also a writer, and he's been pretty prominent since the 1980s. And a lot of people give Rob Liefeld crap for being a bad artist, which I don't think is true. I think that Rob Liefeld, in the same kind of way you have like your garage rock music or something, it doesn't have to always be perfectly in time or perfectly in tune. It can still be very fun and very appealing. And a lot of people cite this example, the Captain America, which actually it never went to print, but a lot of people have already have seen it. Oh, fuck that. Okay, this image, yeah, with the enormous bizarre bulging pectoral muscles. A lot of people have given Rob Liefeld crap for this drawing, but I know it's a finished drawing, but it didn't go to print. And I don't know if that was because of something else, or people said, hey, we can't put this in a comic. But Rob Liefeld, I think, has made some really great comic books and some really great comic book art, and it has, like I say, a ton of energy to it that I really like. If you look at like Prophet, No, it's Youngblood. I think he said one of the best comic books he ever drew was Youngblood 2. Yeah, and I was looking at this earlier, and I don't know if I can actually find individual pages, but I mean, I think that cover alone gives you an idea. I do actually own this comic. It's Pinterest, I think, so yeah, we don't want to look at that. But I mean, the energy and the raw power in his artwork, I think, still means a lot to me anyway. It has a lot about it that I really respond to, like and people say, oh, it looks ridiculous, everyone's giant and muscly and covered in guns, and oh, it's completely over the top. That's the Youngblood relaunch. I don't actually like that one so much, but if you look at like real legit Youngblood, I know like the colors really pop, and the characters' designs are ridiculous and complicated. Everyone's covered in pouches. That's another thing that people pick on him for. I love this. Youngblood Bloodshot, this blood's for you. Just the word blood is on the page like 5 times. I like that, and that's what we're going to try and tribute today. And so I'm going to have a character diving in and firing these ridiculous guns. People give Rob Liefeld crap for not really being able to draw guns very well, and I think it's a reference thing, because he's drawing these science fiction characters. He doesn't really need to draw realistic guns. Like, he just draws these things that kind of look like tubes. Like, what is that? It looks like I don't know, it looks like a jetpack or something, or a big air conditioner. It's still, you know, it's appealing. Is that... I was gonna say that is a Liefeld. Well, that's kind of a different looking Liefeld, but still the gun is outrageous looking. I don't think I'm gonna make my guns that big, because I want the character in question to be more like Grifter from Wildcats. Actually, if we put in Wildcats, oop, Grifter. He's kind of a he's a Liefeldian type character, but he was created by Jim Lee. Yeah, this is this kind of thing. Like the dual-wield, two-handed shooting, you know, 2 guns at the same time. I think that kind of works because he's going to be diving in like Max Payne, coming in from the right of the screen. And I think the rest of it will all be just me. Sorry, I get to get sidetracked looking at action figures. By the way, guys, the Wildcats action figures. Let's just look at this. Let's just type this in. I want any one of you to we don't want to shop for them, we want to look at them. The Wildcats action figures, if you can take a look at the actual packaging, tell me if you think you've seen this font anywhere before. That's maybe a clearer example with the black background, with the sparkles and the purple and yellow font at an angle. Let me know if you think you've seen that anywhere before. And get back to me. Anyway, I gotta get back to work, so let's get in and rough out our Rob Liefeld inspired character. And I'll just make sure that the live stream's still going. There we go. I've been talking a lot. All right. Comic Tropes in the chat is saying that good-looking cover is traced from a G.I. Joe cover. Yeah, that's another thing. That Rob Liefeld has been accused of, is lifting artwork by other people and tracing artwork by other people. I can't verify that G.I. Joe cover, but I would actually, Chris, if you can send me a link, if you can find it, that would be kind of interesting. But I will say that I own that comic, and it still has a lot of good artwork inside. I don't think it's all lifted, but that's pretty inexcusable. You should not be tracing in comics. I think the reference is great, but to trace is not fair, because then you're just really taking someone else's work and not giving them credit and profiting from it. So okay, so as Chris runs past, I think I'm just going to have this character kind of slide into shot, basically. Like, we're not going to animate him diving in, because it's a moving camera, so he's going to have to dive in faster than the camera. Something like this, actually. If I can just kind of create it with a tween, and we'll close up the shot there, just so you don't see all the stuff around the side. This character still needs to be worked on. This I was originally sort of thinking of an Incredible Hulk-like character, but I talked to Chris, and we talked about how manga and anime haven't really been represented very well so far. We've got the Junji Ito style schoolgirl, and I also think that now with Chris's direction, we'll probably make this more of a Dragon Ball Z type character, or maybe even I was thinking like All Might from My Hero Academia, just because that's, you know, still a big, muscly, strong character, but it ties, again, directly back to the channel because Chris has actually talked about My Hero Academia on the show. So yeah, this character in the background, it's going to basically be this kind of thing where he really quickly, as all hell's breaking loose, he just dives in, boom, and then as the camera sort of continues to move, see, there's so many layers, the background isn't actually moving anymore, but I was thinking this kind of thing would work. I don't know. Making sound effects here to try to You know, I'll figure out the motion later on. I think the important part today is that we draw the character and get that to look good. So, like I said, we want a diving character, and I'm going to draw it sort of, I think probably full body, just so I have that freedom of, if I want him to fly in and you see the whole character on screen, I think that would make sense. So Rob Liefeld has this thing about shoulder pads, making those really big. So I think that would kind of make sense to give the character these big shoulder pads. And like I said, we want the dual wield pistols, so he's going to have two guns firing at the same time. And then I'm thinking just the legs, just this kind of thing, like he's sort of diving to the side but also diving forward. And we are going to be showing the feet. Rob Liefeld is usually criticized for hiding characters' feet. Maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe he doesn't like drawing them or isn't good at drawing them. He certainly can draw feet or feet-like things. They tend to do this thing where they sort of taper at the heels and turn into like little diamonds. But that's good enough for me. I'm not particularly interested in superheroes' feet, so I'm okay with them being stylized like that. But you can see when he's drawn Beast in the X-Men and characters that have big, sort of naked, anatomical-looking feet, you can see that he can draw feet okay. So we'll include feet just because we have to go full body and the character isn't stood. If he was standing, you know, and firing, I would probably do something where I have a rock or some smoke obscuring his feet just for the joke to hopefully land. But we're gonna have the feet in our shot, and then have the character sort of diving and screaming. I'm thinking in terms of the character design, we probably want something that's a little inspired maybe by the character Chapel from Youngblood or the character Shaft from Youngblood. Liefeld has this weird thing of naming characters with names that are already taken from other things. Like in Youngblood, there's the leader, Shaft, who, of course, when I hear Shaft and I think of superheroes and sort of action characters, I'm thinking of the movie Shaft. You know, I can't remember the dude's name, but they did the Samuel L. Jackson remake, which I actually liked a lot as a kid. I think of Shaft. There's a character called Die Hard who's a robot in the team, and I think of obviously the movie Die Hard. There is a character originally called Bedrock, whose catchphrase was Yabba Dabba Doom. Clearly an intended reference to the town of Bedrock, the Flintstones, you know, Fred's catchphrase of Yabba Dabba Doo. But that was actually, I think they were sued, and so the character's name was changed to Bad Rock, which is honestly a much better name for, like, he's like a big, strong rock character. And there's just lots of weird cases of that with Liefeld characters. So I guess our character would be named something like Stark or something that you hear and you go, wait, he's a comic character called Stark? You mean like Tony Stark? No, this is different. It would have to be a name that was already taken. All right, so Liefeld drew these really muscly, buff characters, so I think that something like that would make sense. And I guess then arms are going to be naked. But we want these shoulder pads. Let's look at some darn reference, okay? Liefeld, X-Men maybe, or X-Force. Let's look at his X-Force stuff. Most famously known as being the creator of Deadpool. Some people dispute if the Deadpool he created is really the same Deadpool that took off and became world famous, but he was certainly the person that came up with the name and the look of Deadpool. Although Wade Wilson and Slade Wilson are very similar names. So yeah, I'm thinking of sort of referencing these guys a little bit, and oh boy, there we go. Yes, definitely, like the big shoulder pads with the pouches, and the headgear that's being worn by Shatterstar there in X-Force. I think there's a lot of stuff there I can take from these guys, and basically I'm going to put this up on my other monitor and kind of pull bits and pieces of their costumes apart. Probably take Cable's whatever they are, knee pads, I guess, his big knee pads there. I think that'll work nicely. And I'm going to try to keep up in the chat, guys, and if anybody has any ideas for Liefeldian elements I could incorporate, I will do my best to try and include them. But it's going to be a job using my reference and also keeping up with the chat at the same time and all of that stuff. So, okay. The big chest. Now, the thing I don't have to worry about too much is drawing, because kind of notoriously Liefeld's art is sometimes a little questionable, and I think it's okay if my art is a little questionable, but it has to be questionable in the right way. Something like that. And of course he's going to be screaming. You know he's going to be screaming. And he's going to have that headgear on that we looked at earlier. Now, I want to make the character kind of detailed, because that's, of course, part of his work, is that he's drawn plenty of characters with like lots of sort of details and costume elements, and then there's tons of etching and details in the rendering. But I also want to make it animatable, and even though we're not really going to do much in terms of animation on this character, I want to make it at least fit with the rest of the characters that have got that kind of look. We don't want to just stick loads of detail on this character and sort of draw the eye in too much. We want the rest of the scene to sort of work together. So I think that's something like that. It's going to be okay. What could I do which would make it better? Maybe the shoulder pads need to be a bit more visible. He usually gave characters some sort of katana or sword and just stuck it over their back. I mean, I could do that. I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe just leave it in there for now. I mean, Deadpool always used katanas, and I think he gave the X-Force and stuff katanas over time. Let me see if I get any suggestions for what I could do that would make this better. Oh, the eye glow, of course, yes. That's a very good idea. The kind of crackling, glowing eye. I'll have to clean that up later on. Yeah. That's a good one. Give him really big teeth. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, you want the big kind of teeth that... He did this thing, actually, which always drives me mad, where he has these characters. They look really angry, okay? They look really, really angry. There's all these lines of detail, blah, 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 blah. And then he draws the mouth really wide open, okay? And you think, well, that's fine. They're angry. Why wouldn't their mouth be wide open? And then he does this. He gives them closed teeth. So he wants the mouth to be really wide open, but he also wants the teeth to be closed. And that's kind of hard to do. Like, you're trying to do that. Try and close your teeth, but keep your mouth really open. It's, you know, you can't keep your mouth as open as when you're actually doing a full scream. So, like, really, this guy, you would want to just have him, you know, like that to actually make the shape of the mouth make sense. I bet a bunch of you did that. I bet what I was saying, it's impossible to keep your mouth wide open with your teeth clenched. I bet a few of you tried that. It's impossible. Whenever anybody says something like, "Do you know that you can't, you know, touch your ear and your knee at the same time," or something like that, a lot of you see people want to try and do it because they go, wait, is it really impossible? And they try and do it. Mr. Wanted says a weird bulge, please. We can do that. And I think a few more pouches are needed. Maybe we'll just add a couple of pouches on his chest too. Now, I don't want to spend too much of your time here with me designing away. I'm sure we can change a bunch of stuff at the cleanup stage. And other than that, probably what I'll do is I'll have basically I'll animate the arms going back and like doing this, so that we actually get like a little kickback as the guns fire, because I'm thinking the guns are just going to have little explodey effects coming out of them. And basically the hair will move as well. And I think that's really all we need to do to just create the illusion of another character in the background. Darby88 says a metal arm. That's an excellent idea. I think chrome being represented in some form is a really good idea. So we'll definitely give him one metal arm. Okay. All right. Well, like, I'm happy enough with that as is. It's getting very cluttered, so I want to make sure that I get to the cleanup stage and begin figuring it out. So I'm gonna export this out, guys, and then bring it over, and in a minute I will clean it up. I'll be right back with you in a second. Hey everyone, welcome back, and we are going to clean up our Liefeld inspired character. So it's really important at this time that I bring up my references. See, I've got my Pinterest or whatever open over here. I'm going to move this onto the other monitor just so that I get a good sort of sense of how to replicate the inking style that Liefeld used back in the kind of late 80s, early 90s, because that's the kind of decade that I think we're trying to represent here. And while I am looking at that, you guys may be writing in suggestions, but I'm going to have a trouble, I think, looking at any more chat while I'm working on this. So I may have to just put my head down and work for the next few minutes, and we'll keep the brush nice and thick, because I don't want to give myself any reason to go too crazy with the detail. That'll definitely happen if I go too thin with the brush strokes. Okay, so I think the head, what is it, like a crest or whatever you'd call it, the sort of a head guard type thing. Like, I'm just looking at characters like these guys, like Shaft from Youngblood had this big sort of headgear on. This dude too, I don't know who that is. Is that Shaft again? Could be. I think I'll represent that. So he's going to have some gear on his head. Really big, open, wide mouth. I'm going to exaggerate things a little bit because the character's going to be away in the background. I don't want there to be too much sort of I don't want people to have to really pause to get a sense of what the character looks like, so I'm gonna sort of exaggerate things quite a bit here and not go crazy with the detail. How does Liefeld draw noses? How does he draw them? Okay, I see. He does them very small. But then still sort of details the nostrils like that. And he tends to draw eyes kind of small and glowing and white. And draw them in shadow. So I may do that. I may put one of these eyes here. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. Put the mouth in black and put the eye in black. I think that's pretty good. It's cartoony, but we know it's animation. We don't want to totally represent the way that he would draw 100%. We just want to kind of do like an animated friendly version of the character. You traitor! I don't know, I'm sorry this guy's shooting at you, Chris. I didn't mean for that to happen. And the other eye, we're going to have crackling and glowing, and that needs to be animated. So I think this basic body of the character here can be totally stiff and not moving, other than the arms firing off the bullets. But I really want to make sure that I go in there and have the eye animated and have the hair and stuff. Okay, well the face I was worried about, but I think that works. So, true story, Rob Liefeld, who I am a fan of his work. Like I said earlier, I really, for all the things you can say about it, I get a big kick out of the stuff that he does, especially his 80s and 90s stuff. He did block me on Twitter a couple of years ago. I've moaned about this in the past before. He blocked me because Joyce, my other half, gave me a Rob Liefeld themed gift for it was like a birthday or Christmas, I can't remember exactly. No, I don't like that shadow, we're gonna get rid of it. And I tweeted it out to Rob. I was like, hey, you know, check it out, check what the missus gave me. And a bunch of people, I think in the replies, started making fun of his work and him in the actual responses. And I think because I was the original poster of the thread and the replies were coming into, I've got to look at the shoulder pads here. Looking at this image of Bloodshot here, maybe with the kind of chrome style shoulder pads. I think I'll keep them simple, make them sort of chrome. I think because of that, he blocked me, and oh well, what can you do? I didn't mean anything. I didn't mean any harm. I'm a fan of his stuff, but it blocks me, so it happens. The neck needs to be really like straining and crazy. There we go, something like that. And then I'll just draw a little drop shadow under the chin. Okay. And the pouches, we're going to draw a bunch of them, and I don't want to get too cluttered with detail, so we're going to try and keep them simple. You know, Rob likes his pouches. His characters were famous for having many, many pouches, which I think is, it's, you know, it's become kind of a meme now, but if you think about it, tactical heroes running into battle with guns, they're going to need places to keep their weapons, and it's not always super important to keep superhero comics realistic. There's no problem with things being totally unrealistic, but I think that he was, you know, just sort of logically thinking, well, if they're firing off if they're firing off a bullet every half second and it's an hour-long battle, they're gonna get through a lot of ammunition. I don't like that belt. I'm gonna clear off that belt. So I think honestly it was a very smart decision to give the characters pouches. It's just that a lot of people made fun of it. Can I copy and paste these pouches so I don't have to redraw them? Rob Liefeld likes redrawing pouches, clearly, but I don't. Not really. The perspective's not quite right. I want to make them look more stupid. They look too good. They look too good. Let's just make them big, ugly blocks. Like that. Like that. This guy is pouch crazy. He's just loaded up with pouches. I mean, yeah, it's stupid, but I think people are going to see those as pouches from afar, so I think we can get away with it. And the ridiculous legs with the big, shiny, big, shiny pads. Knee pads. And the little diamond feet. The feet are very exaggerated because that's kind of just the way he did it. So I think that works. A little bit of graphic black shading there, and I'll do a little bit more shading around just to try to make it look like a comic book. have to waste a little bit too long here. I tend to do that. And I forget who requested it, but the big bulge. And something like that for the legs. He drew these very big, kind of puffy. Like if we look at some reference, let's bring over some more reference. Let me see. That's a good one. For worst Rob Liefeld drawings? Come on. Yeah, I mean, look at those thighs there on Shaft. Like huge, swollen beans. Love them. So yeah, that's the kind of thing we're doing here. Obviously, I'm doing a very compromised, cartoony version of that because we've got to get it done quickly. There's more than I think more than 12 characters in the shop at this point, and this can't take forever. I want Chris to be able to use this intro this month, and I gotta get back to my projects and my things. I gotta finish Dr. Bees and commissions and a million billion other things. Get started on my own comics. So that would be the back leg. We'll just put it in black just because it's it's a comic booky thing to do. I've actually been drawing a lot of my own sort of rough comic book art lately, getting prepped for the Starbarians comic whenever that starts up, and it's nice to I could do this in animation if I wanted to, but because I've been thinking about sort of drawing for a comic and thinking differently about what goes into the art involved, I've been sort of starting to hide some of the areas in graphic black, and it's a really nice technique. Actually, it means that you don't quite have to render out everything, and for some reason I've been doing animation for so long, I've built up these bad habits where I've put detail in places I don't need to, and it's sort of nice in a way to kind of break out of some of those bad habits by picking up a new approach. Actually can show you. I threw a couple of images the other day on Twitter. These are very, very rough drawings. Literally, I was actually watching the election results come in the other night, and I was bored, so I was just scribbling madly. And I quite like this one of Kilgar. That's a really quick, crappy one. So it's that one. So it's that one. Kind of a nice one of Hogstrong. Now, granted, if I were to do finished drawings, it wouldn't be this rough. You wouldn't have lines that messy, but I mean, this is a sketch that maybe I could then go on and ink, and actually it's digital, so there really would be no ink involved. But what I would do is sort of clean up the lines and get rid of sort of the rough edges and try to create a polished version. But I like that level of detail, and again, I think that's a nice one. So, and then it just devolves into complete filth after this. I think those arms are quite good. I've got to get better at anatomy. If things aren't moving, I can't get away with having very, very simplistic characters. I've got to add in some detail, or I'd like to add in some detail, and clearly I'm a fan of that kind of era, late 80s, early 90s when it comes to comic books. That's why I'm a fan of Rob Liefeld, and so part of the Starbarians comic style will be a loving tribute to that kind of thing, because I like the way he draws. I can't help it. Okay, so we wanna finish this illustration off and get to, I think some more pouches would be a good thing this time to bring in. Definitely worthwhile. And the same on the other leg. These big meaty thighs. And let's see now, we want to maybe, see, I don't want to add too much shading and sort of make it look like just a flat drawing, because it's, you know, it's part of an animated shot. We want it to sort of live in the same universe as the animated characters, but thinking shading the sort of ab region would be a good idea. Or at least filling it in with a... maybe the belt too. Would he do that? No, I don't think Liefeld would do that. I think, in fact, the Liefeld call right around here would be more pouches, please. That's what he would do. He would add more pouches. Okay, yeah, I think that's starting to look like a Liefeld character. I really just went for the cheap seats with just having a bunch of pouches and stuff, but that's kind of what he did. So I'm gonna actually cut off the shoulders here. I'm gonna do the same with this one. I'm gonna cut off the shoulders, and you guys are probably wondering why, but it's so that we can actually get the moving elements to be on a separate layer. I think that'll ultimately work better, and I'm thinking the shoulder pads need to move too. So costume wise, it's not much of a superhero costume, but I figure that we can kind of introduce some sort of colored add a little bit more shading in a few places. Something like that. Like that, I think would be good. And I think now I'll leave the legs alone. Maybe just a little bit of shading. Crotchular region shading. Okay, I'm good with that. Now, chest wise, I'm just going to add a little bit. Okay, that's good. And now we want to add in that katana. He didn't draw a lot of things in perspective, so we'll just draw that completely out of perspective, just a totally flat sword. Oh, I'm struggling here. Come on, Harry. Okay. That's good. It's a short sword, actually. We want to make that look way longer, so it would be like down, coming out like down there, maybe. It's a very curvy katana as well. All right, now we can start having fun and actually animating things a little bit. So if this is our sort of main layer here that we're going to be working with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, just seeing if the legs needed anything more. Going to go in and animate the other eye. So we'll turn off our original rough and make that eye here on the layer above. I know this is going to look insane, but if I show you the way that he drew Cable. He drew Cable and a couple of characters actually, just like Cable, with this. Here's the image actually used for the live stream. Can we bring loading? Well, you get the idea anyway. Cable has this big yellow glowing eye that kind of crackles. So that's how he drew him, but it was the same, I think, with Shatterstar had that as well. Oh no, Shatterstar had... Wait, Shatterstar did have a glowing eye, but he had a tattoo or some sort of scar around his eye. So that's what we'll do. We'll kind of have we don't have really room for the tattoo, but we have this, definitely this sort of crazy glowing crackle around the eye. Looks pretty Liefeldian. And what we'll do is basically to animate that is I will just copy and paste that a whole bunch of times, and we'll just redraw the crackle. So I should have copied just the eye, seeing as that's the part that's not moving. So literally we'll just turn on the onion skin and I'm sure that's kind of how it animated in the X-Men cartoon, because I think they actually put Cable in the original cartoon, and they animated the crackle just by having it sort of wildly change shape between frames. Let's have like a small one, so it sort of ebbs a little bit. So that sort of makes sense. He's got a crazy crackling eye as he dives forward. So that's the eye. That's fine. We'll turn the guide frame back on, and I want to do the same thing with the hair and actually animate that a little bit. So we've seen some reference pictures today. Oh, hang on. I had the opacity turned down. There we go. The hair needs to be really sort of pillowy looking. Let me find a good reference for the hair. I'm thinking of this kind of thing. So it's this big sort of big poofy sort of ball of hair. It doesn't make any sense that you'd have a ponytail, because this hair is short-ish. I've done this sort of stuff. Hogstrong has like a ponytail on top of kind of short hair on top of ponytails. You'd have to grow it out in a very deliberate way. But he has these little waves, these little curls, but the hair itself is really just a ball of hair with a ponytail sticking out the top. So that's the kind of thing we'll do. So it'll be sort of that shape. If you look at it again. Okay, it's just sort of following around all these little curls. That looks like it still looks like it has too much shape to it. I think those bits are okay. It's this stuff. Just turn on our onion skin there. Still don't like the way that looks. Why is that falling apart? I think I'm just gonna have to go with it. And we will make it work some way. So if I get rid of that. What do you guys think? Why have I not done the hair? It's yeah, why have I not done it? It's totally legit and owed right of looking good, because it looks flat. Chris asks, what kind of tablet do you use? I use a Cintiq 22 HD, which it's good. I recommend it. It was I was very fortunate. I actually have a friend that works at Wacom that makes the Cintiqs, and he managed to get me kind of a bit of a deal on one, which is not something that everyone has open to them. I know. Nah, it's not working for me, that hair. Maybe there's something else we could do with the hair, like Cable's hair is kind of interesting. It sort of has that weird spike to it. I don't like that either. I'm just going to go with my gut and draw something that's not necessarily pulling from reference, but I think will work. So kind of like that, maybe? It's a little bit like Guile from Street Fighter. Would that work? No. I think we could just do something like, yeah, people say make it pointier. Haha. Bowl cut. Bowl cut? I don't know about the bowl cut. I mean, that doesn't look right to me. I mean, he did give characters that kind of hair. What about you, Chris? If you're still in the chat, could you give me some direction here? You're paying for this thing. Something like that, maybe, and just have, you know, of course we're gonna have the ridiculous ponytail or whatever come out as well. The braids. You know, I have Liefeld comic books littering my office. What was Ed Gould like when you worked on some stuff with him on Ed's World? He was quiet, and he had a silly sense of humor, and that's you know, he was a great guy. I loved Ed. I miss him. Yeah, he's quiet, fun sense of humor, very hardworking. He didn't have a very blue sense of humor. There was a couple of times talking to him where he even told me, you know, if I made a dirty joke or something, he'd say he didn't like it, which I mean, you kind of get that from the stuff he did. I make stuff that's a little bit more disgusting and adult, but Ed was a very pure being. All right, Chris says he likes the first one. Well, if I hit the control, we gotta go back to it. You mean like that one, or? Chris said he liked the one that was like a bob, but I don't actually know what. I don't know what bob hair is. I've heard that phrase, but that sort of do the trick. Another thing he would do is really try to... He'd rip off Wolverine quite a bit. There's quite a few characters that have hair, you know, that sort of goes up like... This character kind of doesn't really have that opportunity because of the stuff he's wearing on his head. That one. Oh, okay. Alright, well, Chris said this one looks alright. Okay, we're going to try and run with this, and I'm obviously going to clean it up and do something with it. You know what? It's going to be moving anyway. I'm worried way too much about the hair, because that's the whole idea with this, is that it's all going to be moving anyway. I'm probably moving quite wildly. Oh wait, I'm so delayed with the I'm delayed with the response. Chris, can you be specific if you want me to do something different? It's really hard to match other people's style, you know, if it's not the way you would draw something. No, I did not go to Ed's funeral. Hey Kevin, thank you for coming by. The doodling goes alright, thank you, although this we cannot figure out a hairstyle for this guy that doesn't completely stink. No. All right, the Wolverine hair made him laugh. Okay. All right. You know what? We can do the Wolverine thing, and just change the whole thing a little bit. So okay. All right. Let's look at like okay. Okay. So Liefeld, Wolverine. Has he drawn Wolverine? I'm sure he has. He definitely has. That's the sort of thing we're thinking of, okay? Sort of the upside down triangle. But Rob Liefeld's created a lot of characters that are like Wolverine, but are not. So he's done, I think of a guy called Cougar, who's very Wolverine-esque. There he is, that's Cougar. I mean, clearly that's Wolverine, but he's done tons. There's Seahawk, who's more like, I'm thinking of someone else, I can't remember his name. Yeah, Seahawk is more like Batman, I guess. But he definitely has a Wolverine vibe. There's another dude in red and white. He's so Wolverine, and I can't remember his name. Alright, we're gonna go with the Wolverine hair, everybody. Yeah, there's one guy that's literally just Wolverine, but in different colors. I totally don't remember his name. He's part of the... I think he's part of the Youngblood team, but...
Was it Blood Wolf?
Blood Wolf?
I think it was Blood.
No, Joyce is suggesting Blood Wolf. It's not Blood Wolf.
Blood Wolf.
Blood Wolf looks like this, honey. Say hi.
Hello.
This
That is who I was thinking.
That's who you were thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, again, that guy's more like Lobo. He's Lobo.
Yeah, you're right.
Meets Wolverine, but there was a guy that looked like he had the Wolverine costume, but it was in red and white.
Shoot, no, I don't know that one.
His power was guns. I remember that's what his power was. He shot people. He was in, I can't remember what team he was in. But yeah, okay. Well, I think we're gonna go with Trump meets with Rob Liefeld to discuss armor design for high school teachers. I don't think that's real. I think this is
Is that like an onion?
yeah, I guess this is bit of satire. Although that would be cool. Alright, well, we're gonna go with the Wolverine hair. As best as I can remember it. This is what we got so far, but it's animated, so you see it's like, it's okay.
Yeah, he always did like spiky crop tops.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we're gonna go with the Wolverine hair. So, something like... See, Joyce can draw better than I can. I wish you were drawing this one, honey.
No, I'm only doing one Liefeld-esque piece of art. You've done plenty by now.
No, I'm not as good as you, though.
No.
So, what should I do? Should I have the...
You could have a ponytail sticking out of that. Oh no, I like that.
You like that?
Yeah, I like that.
Are we thinking this is okay? Chris is actually in the chat now, so he may specify. Is this okay, Chris? Something like that, and then we'll go and clean it up and be done with this.
What color is it?
Oh yeah, Chris has suggested Troll. Troll is another one. There's so many. There's so many.
Isn't there one called Kirby?
That's a Jack Kirby reference.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Troll. We know Troll. I actually got a Troll comic this week. He's a tiny Wolverine, basically.
Yeah, I thought there was a short one named Kirby. I guess
No, there's another one. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, Troll definitely has the Wolverine hair. Alright. Joyce is gonna try and find it. I want to say he's in Youngblood, but it could be Brigade.
Well, there's Brahma.
No, it's not. No, it's not Brahma. Okay. I'm having too much fun with this. Okay, this is gonna look weird. I'm gonna draw right through there because we're gonna make it on the layer below. And then do the same. Have to do the same with the mutton chops, but we'll actually put them on the layer above. Who are you finding, honey?
Well, no, I just didn't recognize who that was. Is that Combat? Is that his name? Could tell him.
There's combat. People, we don't have a camera on, so yeah, you can.
No, but
Just so you know.
to jog your memory.
Okay.
Oh, that's good here.
Okay. All right, so folks, I'm just gonna animate these mutton chops very sort of briefly. Just do a little something so that when the character is moving through the air, we get a little bit of motion. Something like that. Just. It's really not anything else we can do with them. And then the hair on the layer at the bottom, we can be a little bit more elaborate with. I'll just do something like we'll have that kind of thing. So we're going to get some motion as he comes flying through the air. And we're still going to add in a ponytail, because why the hell wouldn't we? It's a Liefeld type character and he's a ponytail. And then I don't know. We do these live streams, and oftentimes I need to come back and fix stuff that I've done on the live stream, because something about that pressure of doing it live means that it's too much for me and I have to come back and fix things later. Like, I think that would sort of work, what we've got there. You know, that kind of thing. It's just motion. It's in motion. I think it'll work. Deadlock! I think that was the guy I was thinking of. Comic tropes. Let's take a look at Deadlock. This is the guy that, to me, is just Wolverine in red and white. Yes! Okay, that's what he looks like now. That was like a redesign of him, which is obviously a lot more, it's a lot more unique. That's OG Deadlock. Now, that's not a Liefeld drawing, that's way too good. But look at this thing. It's just Wolverine, man. Ah, I see someone else came to the conclusion too. So yeah, we love Deadlock. Deadlock's awesome. He's only a I love it's just Wolverine with pouches. He just slapped 50 pouches on Deadlock. And that makes him a unique character. This is supposed to be a Rob Liefeld appreciation stream. We are supposed to be very pro Rob Liefeld in this house. But here I am, slamming poor old Rob Liefeld. Davy88 suggests the name Wildblood. That's a good name. That's a very good name. That's extremely on point. Wildblood. Alright, so that's good. We still want to go with the ponytail or the braid of some kind. And we'll add that another layer, of course. Hey, bub. Can I just get away with like a piece of string? Because it would be much easier to animate. Joyce is gone and I'm honestly a little bit sad. I love Joyce. Honey? Okay, so we're gonna animate this braid now flapping around. Looks like a cowtail. Hey honey, you went.
Huh?
Can I just say I love you? Give me a kiss. Alright, see you later on. I'll be done soon, probably in another 45 minutes or so.
No problem.
Alright, alright, love you. See you later. Okay, so we're gonna have like a... Just gonna whip down, I guess, which will pull the end up. Haha, trying to animate anything in a looping motion. So, Deadpool Nerd says, are you animating your Liefeld OC? I guess it's technically an OC, but it's for the Comic Tropes intro. Yeah, guys, if you've only just joined us today, I'm animating the intro for the Comic Tropes show on YouTube, run by my good buddy Chris. Check out Comic Tropes, it's fantastic, but Chris asked me to animate a new intro for him, and it's still very rough, still coming together, but it's going to look something like this when it's done. Yeah, something like this. Yeah, so we still have a long way to go, but as you can see, we're bringing together lots of different types of comic characters. There's going to be a sort of Jack Kirby Galactus type in the background. Then as Chris lands, we've got like a Howard the Duck type. We've got a kind of Superman type. Conan the Barbarian. We're going to have an anime or sort of... No, I'm saying anime. Junji Ito style manga character. We've got a big old tentacle, Hulk. And we're going to have, just coming in at the very end, if it all looks good, that is, this type of character that's inspired by Rob Liefeld and the 90s. But it's not super specific, really. Okay, and then yeah, this is for Comic Tropes. And thank you guys for coming by today and watching me struggle through animating a whole character on stream. He's only... Yeah, there we go, something like that. It's just 3 frames. It's very loose. I may have to go ahead and add new frames later or rework entire elements. But now the big job is animating the arms, which I'm still going to probably do on 2 separate layers so that we can animate them. Actually, no, I think I could do it on 1 layer. Let me see. So Liefeld drew silly tube guns like this. They were never very detailed, which is fine with me because we have to animate these things. This is probably going to be the most animated part of the character. And he never really drew them with proper trigger guards or anything like that. Detail was usually very sparse. That's not a very well drawn gun or hand or anything, but I honestly think if you look at... I wonder if I can find that. If I look for Rob Liefeld hands or Rob Liefeld weapons. Liefeld hands. Rob Liefeld hands. He had this thing of drawing hands not really holding things very well. Yeah, I mean, there's somebody correcting a Thor hand, you know, it's not really, it's sort of changing the shape of the thing it's gripping. That's an example of an undetailed tube gun. Look at that, there's just nothing on that gun, it's just a chrome lump. Again, a very undetailed gun. That sword isn't really held correctly, there's no fingers coming around the other side of it. And this is not a stream of me dumping on Rob Liefeld, I like the guy. But there certainly is room for improvement on a couple of things he's drawn. So something like that. Big, beefy arms. Which I think we're going to make chrome. I think that's what we agreed upon. And then obviously shoulder pads too. That are also chrome. So are we making both arms chrome? I guess just one arm is going to be chrome. So this is going to be the normal arm. Let's put a little bit of definition in there. And this gun is going to have a little chromey wobble on it too. And then I'm going to draw... What we're actually going to do is have the guns fire sort of asymmetrically, out of sync, like... So I'm actually going to animate them as if they're symmetrically firing at the same time, and then split up the layers later on, just because that's going to be a little bit easier for me, I think, to keep track of what I'm doing and making sure that they both kind of animate in the same way. So I'm just giving him two of exactly the same gun. Basically, he's wielding two pistols and dual wielding both. And again, the little gloves. This is not a well-drawn hand at all, but that's it's not exactly missing the mark. I think we can get away with it because it's going to be seen so briefly and from so far away. No, I don't like the elbow being that cocked. I think we could let's move the hand up a little bit and make the arm straighter, because it just looks more extreme. There we go, something like that. The gun is not looking the right way. Oh, okay. I have a certain limit that I'm not willing to go past. We don't want things to be completely terrible. So there we go. I think that gun looks a little bit better. And I know that they look like they're missing trigger guards, but that's just the sort of thing he would do. He wouldn't often draw a lot of detail on the guns, as we've discussed. So I'm going to draw the other shoulder pad in there as well now. Something like that. I'm not really going to see much of it, but I will fill it with black. Same with this one, actually. I'll put a little bit of black in there too, make this a bit smoother. So the guns are going to be getting shot at the same time. Or actually I'll delay one and sort of make them a little bit off sync with each other, but certainly they're both getting fired. So I'm going to create, that's like the sort of basic frame, and from that I'm going to animate a couple of frames of them kicking back and then settling back down. So that's going to take some work. Let me just no, I think we can go ahead and do it. So okay, let's create our kickback frame here. Oh yeah, this arm, we said we'd make it chrome. So something like this to sort of give it that chromy, comic booky look. I think that'll work okay. In fact, let's do like what Cable has. Good grammar, Harry. Let's do what like Cable has, and add some sort of ribbing down them there. I think that's pretty good too. And so this is going to be the arms fully thrown back. Really bulge that muscle. And the shoulder pads would have to be squished in quite a lot by the force of that. And we'll just do that. Blam. Blam, 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 blam. And then we'll add the effects on. I'll probably do that off the stream at some other time, but you know, there's going to be these big sort of flashes from the gun. In fact, it may even have to go behind his hair. That could be a tough thing to figure out in terms of layering. That's a really difficult thing in animation, when something is both in front of and behind a certain layer. So of course, you've got the gun going behind his head, but also the gun is on the same layer as the arm, and the arm is in front of the head because the arm is on the same layer as the shoulder pads, and the shoulder pad has to be in front of the chest, and the head is on the same layer as the chest. So I don't know. I may be able to avoid it. No, I can't, because the hair goes behind the head too. Haha! Okay, that's going to take some work. It looks ridiculous. Looks like a weird telephone that he's holding, but I think we can just about make it work in action. And remember, this character is very, very small on the screen. It's going to be very hard to read. Let's copy and paste this part of the arm actually, just so we get some nice sort of consistency with it. Let's cut into it slightly there so we don't go over the top of our little pouches that he's wearing. Okay. Hey, Rebecca Kartsmark with the super chat. Thank you very, very much for that. It's extremely generous. Rebecca says, hope you're having a great day. I love your stuff. Keep up the good work. Well, Rebecca, you've made my day 5 times better by sending me a super chat. Thank you very much. You covered some groceries that I went and bought today. I went to the supermarket and I was supposed to be going there as a responsible adult, you know, to buy protein and vegetables and stuff like that. And ultimately I did buy chocolate cereal and candy that looks like snowballs and a type of hot chocolate mix that's flavored like alcohol. I bought stupid things, very stupid things, which a man my age and my girth should probably not be buying. But hey, they're going to be fun to consume, no doubt. Hey, Chris, thank you for the super chat. Okay, Chris, you don't need to give me a super chat. You've already paid for the video to be produced. Chris is paying for this intro. Chris, of course, being the presenter and producer of the Comic Trope series. Chris, you don't need to give me a super chat on top of it. This is all funded by you anyway. You madman. But thank you very much, dude. I appreciate it. I will buy myself a soup. Chris knows how much of a soup fan I am. I can't get enough of that wonderful soup stuff. Okay, so he is... So nice having Joyce around earlier. 2021 will be our 10-year anniversary of basically spending every waking moment together since she moved in with me and we both work from home. But I gotta say, I'm not regretting it. She is just totally the most best thing in my life. All right, let's. So there we go. Those are that's the arms thrown back. But we want to go and this is what we call great quality animation. This was a Walt Disney trick that he created himself and he taught to the 9 old men. Which is this. Which is, first of all, you copy and paste your animation that you've just, or your frame that you've just drawn. And then you do this. You do this. You grab it, and you just slightly rotate it, like a very lazy person would do. Like that. And people say, but doesn't that look bad? And Walt would put them in the hole for 5 weeks if they said that. So this is going to be a tough one, trying to make this look like it's Don't know if I can cheat this one quite so easily because the movement is a lot. I'm thinking in motion that you'd actually be able to get away with something like that. I know it's not high quality animation, it's kind of cheating, but I think honestly something like that will actually do the trick. And we'll just clean it up a little bit. So there you go. Just copy and paste your way through animation. Makes things a lot easier. Really itching to play Jedi Academy tonight. It's a game I really love. I shouldn't. I should keep working. I should not be buying cereal and playing video games. I am a grown-up. Should be doing grown-up things. But I am itching to play Jedi Academy, and which I do actually have on the Xbox One. So I may boot that up for half an hour. That's one of my favorite Star Wars games. I love any game where you can create your own character and kind of customize them. Well, I say any game. I don't love any game that lets you do that, but that's something that I tend to go for. That's why I'm a fan of the Elder Scrolls games, and I just particularly like Jedi Academy because I like classic Star Wars. I like Star Wars on any day really, but I particularly like that sort of era of Star Wars. Okay, so I think we may be done. Now, obviously we want to color this, and there's a lot of other elements and things that need work, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to render all of our frames out totally isolated in terms of time, and then we'll take a look at what we've got, and hopefully it'll all come together. So let's do that, and we can work on the coloring, which is going to be fun. I think you guys can help me with colors. So if you have any wacky color ideas, remember we're basing this on the world of Rob Liefeld and his characters, and so the colors are going to be kind of intense. So there's really no rules. We can do whatever we want. We can have blue hair, green hair, black hair. We can have any kind of color outfit for our characters that we could possibly imagine, and that'll be fun. So there we go. That was our original sketch that I knocked together very, very quickly, but we're going to import our animation back into it. Rebecca asks, do you do any rigging, Harry? I do not do any rigging. Everything I do is frame by frame. Even if it's copied and pasted, I'm gonna, take it and just redraw it or not do anything that requires rigging. So sorry about that. Okay, so here was our original drawing, and this is what we've ended up with. We've got 3 frames of hair. We've got our body frame. We have got our shooting arms. And we've got our crackling eye, which I know that's going to be yellow. I don't want to change the eye. And we've got our little moving bits of hair that go in front, his kind of Wolverine style mutton chops. The nice thing about working in layers is we could ditch all of these elements, and then we've got the hair that goes behind him. So that's what he's going to look like. And I'm going to quickly stick all of this stuff in actual looping layers. I think that would be kind of fun to do, so we can get an idea of sort of the timing and stuff, and whether or not this will all work in action. So while I do that, I'm going to try and answer some questions, because this is going to be a boring job indeed. So if you guys have any questions you'd like me to answer, now would be a good time to share them, and I'll try to get to them quickly while I'm doing this boring layering stuff. Rebecca Katzmark says, I like how rigs are getting better and better. They are definitely getting better and better, and I'm not actually a purist about tweened animation. I do think that ultimately tweened animation is going to fall away. I think for a while it's a little bit like those good CGI faces that they would put on characters in movies where they'd want someone to be 20 years younger. They'd fully make it in CGI, like they did with Jeff Bridges in Tron. I mean, that was not a good example, but now I think the deep faking has kind of just overtaken that technology, and they're going to be able to do it with deep faking, so that sort of stuff will fall by the wayside. I think that tweened animation will become a thing of the past, and probably what will take off more and more is 3D animation with cel shaded rendering, so it still looks like a cartoon. I think that stuff's getting better and better, and the shading's getting smarter and smarter, and the effects and stuff you can apply that make it look and feel like hand-drawn animation is really going to become pretty much impossible to tell that it's not real hand-drawn. How long does it take you to make a short? Mystery things. Dude, everything I do is completely different in that regard, so I couldn't really tell you. I mean, Starbarians Episode 3 took years to do. Trilby Dogtooth took nearly 2 years. This is a 10-second short that I'm making right now, and it's probably only going to take me about 2 or 3 weeks. Dr. Bees, the new Dr. Bees I'm working on, it's probably going to be about 2 months when all is said and done. I mean, it's just, everything's different because every project is different, so that's about the best answer I think I can give you. Hope that's okay. Telwak asks, did you pick up Tunnock snowballs? No, I think they were Cadbury's snowballs, but they were good either way. Lee315 asks, why do you switch between Toon Boom and Animate? Because that's the way I'm most comfortable working. I don't really know what else to tell you. It's just what I'm used to. So yeah, I think the hair is working. I think this is going to be okay. I think that's going to do the trick. CG Starbarians movie when? Asks Stavy88. Hey, don't knock it. I mean, if you look at some of the CG stuff that the artist Beanlight has done, he did a CGI Kilgar and a CGI Double D-Rex. That stuff looks good. I like animation. I really love 2D animation, but I'm not against 3D animation. And actually, I have an idea for a project that I'd like to do next year that's fully 3D, so never say never. Okay, what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to separate both of these out. Make that on one layer, and on this layer we'll do the other guy. And this way we can make it so that they are oh, okay, so it's going to be like this. It's going to be bow. And let me get back to the questions there, because there may be a couple. Have you ever worked with Open Tunes? Keep up the great work. Good work. I read great, but he said good. GTX Beast, no, I've never worked with Open Tunes. Ever, ever, ever. What are your thoughts on Newgrounds now? Newgrounds is awesome. Love Newgrounds. Mike Jono says, now you sound like some guy in the 90s. I don't get what you mean there, but okay. Deadpool Nerd says, when do you get the inspiration for your characters? A lot of places. Comic books, video games, and movies are the main one. I mean, the Starbarians are basically the Ginyu Force from Dragon Ball Z mixed with Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, mixed with Conan the Barbarian, mixed with some other stuff maybe, and like Dr. Bees is kind of old 1940s, 1930s comic books. Well, actually more recent than that, maybe more 50s comic books. Clutch Cargo style crappy animation. The Mr. Incredibles and Pals short from the old Incredibles DVD was kind of an inspiration for it as well. Boom, boom. Something like this. Oh, that's too slow, actually. That is too slow. Yeah, more like that, maybe. It's really stiff. It's really stiff, but it's a little element for the background, and it may work. It may work in motion when there's everything else is going on. Oh, that is stiff looking though. I animated it so quickly. Alright. Rarely will I rough out, animate, and color an entire character on stream. So please don't judge me too harshly. You guys know I can animate to a better level than is demonstrated here. It's just a case of trying to get it all done on stream. Because I made my bed, I've got to lay in it. The title of the stream is Animating a Liefeld character, or whatever it is. So, I've got to make good on that and actually do what I said I'd do. But we are going to have some fun now. We're going to get to come up with some wacky colors for this character. What did we say he's called? Wild Blood? Wild Blood's a good name. This is completely Rob Liefeld type name. Alright. Okay, so let's stick that in. Delete that. Just make these ontos. Okay, so something like that. Wow, the eye is going crazy there. We got to slow the eye down a little bit. I wanted it to kind of crackle, but not to that degree. So that's way too intense. Something like that, maybe about half speed. It's not great animation, folks, but I think we'll be okay. Yeah, we'll just save, make sure it's saved. All right, hey, Anxious Fish. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Thank you for coming by. What music is this, Lee315? This is custom music that I paid for, made by my very talented friend Okoroid. You can look up Okoroid. There's a link in the chat. Oh, sorry, in the description. You can go to Okoroid's channel. He's great. Yes, Mr. Drawing Constantly. This is for the Comic Tropes channel. This is an intro I'm doing. We've got all these characters running into action. And I made this music. You can probably tell the synth music that plays over this little intro we're working on. So yeah, this is going to be for the Comic Tropes channel, and this is our Liefeld inspired character, looking very stiff and awkward, but I mean that's kind of fitting for Liefeld. So guys, what color is this guy going to be? We don't know. We have to make some decisions, make some calls. Now Liefeld, this is something that people never really give the guy credit for, but he was quite progressive, I would say, in his inclusion of different ethnicities and stuff in his teams. So Youngblood had Chapel and Sentinel, who were both African American guys. So we could do the same here. We could give our character some dark skin, or he could be an alien. He could be different color altogether than any human being. I don't know. I want to make the features pop. I don't know if that would be, if this would be good to go with that kind of color scheme, but I want to give it a try just to see. Don't know if that'll work. But we would then get the benefit of if the arm was a different color. Because we have a chrome arm and a human arm, we would then have the benefit of, you know, one being dark and one being light, and I think that would make it more obvious that he was sort of part android or whatever. Maybe the arms need to fire even quicker than that. Let's try that. Let's just make it so that well, I'm just seeing every color imaginable listed because everyone has a different idea. Yeah, Deadpool Nerd. This is definitely a Cable inspired character. That kind of makes sense. He says it reminds him of Cable. Well, I'm gonna just try a couple of things out, and you guys can, because it's rather, if I just say what color should we use, and people say, you know, use this color, then it's not clear really what part of the body we're talking about. So I'm going to go with a couple of things that I feel strongly about. I want to make the eye yellow. And I'm going to make the eye yellow. Let's stick that in there. Something like that. And then on the body layer, let's go with a blue. Actually, what color? I think the background is going to kind of be orange. So I may just give us an orange background to sort of compare things to. I'm going to go with white there. And I know the arm is going to be blue and white because it's kind of chrome. So what we'll do there is we'll create... this is just stuff that I sort of know is going to have to be a certain color. I know that when I'm done on this live stream, which could be 15 minutes from now, I'm gonna have pasta and sausage, and I am excited about that prospect. In fact, I think that we should get this thing wrapped up now in the next 15 minutes or so, and I could even tell Joyce before I finish this arm, maybe, that I think we should have a good idea. I think she should get started on that. Let me go and call down to my wife and tell her to start putting the pasta on. I'll be right back, guys. Now, she heard me anyway. She was like, hey, I heard. I get to start cooking now. So yes, she's excited at that. That's not me going and telling her, woman, start cooking sausages for me. She honestly, she likes to eat. She's a foodie. And she is thrilled at the prospect of Italian food to come, so. Alright, let's finish off this stupid arm. Oh boy. Thinking of a kind of light blue, like that maybe? What suggests chrome? The comic book thing was always very light blue, like that. That's fine, I'll run with that. And I think I want to do the same for the guns. And the reason I say that is because I feel like if the same blue is used on the guns, it will suggest that they are metal too, which I feel like if we used a different blue, it wouldn't quite have the same effect. And I know the guns are going to be colored very simply, but that's simply because Liefeld likes to draw his guns as kind of undetailed blocks of chrome, and that's who is inspiring us today. That's the kind of thing we're trying to recreate. Okay, now how much more do I have to do? The gloves will probably be, the gloves and the shoulder pads may be more in sync with the rest of the outfit. I have one other thing, guys, that I want to... What have I done here? I've put stuff on the wrong layer, damn it. Haha, because we've got two layers. Okay, what layer was I on originally? Okay, so I think I want to do the pouches now, and I'm going to make those all the same color, which across the board, let's going to be sort of a combat tan type color. That just seems to scream utilitarian pouches and stuff. We'll color the little buttons. Alright, and now I'm going to be starting to lean more into the assistance from you guys, the fantastic, lovely audience, because I need some help in figuring out what colors. Haha. Are we going with... Okay, so now we're looking at the costume, okay? The costume. Is the costume going to have... Is it going to be red? Like that? Is it going to be blue? Is it going to be... combination of teal and silver, I think somebody said earlier, although I feel like silver now is represented by this blue. The straps, the belts are probably going to be a different color. What are you guys thinking? Purple? Purple, says Biomech. Robeast. Purple. Blue and yellow is a good idea because it screams X-Men to me. But okay, I'm seeing a couple people say purple and white. Oh, you know what? That works. That totally works. That totally works. And we'll make the oh, damn it. I was gonna say we'll make the shoulder the knee pads, blah blah blah. We'll make those chromey looking too. Oh, chromey with Marge. I think that works. Try and imply that the boots are chrome. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Maybe the knee pads are, but maybe the... Yeah, okay, I think we're just gonna go with purple for the legs. Great! Great job, Harry. Now I've got to do all this finicky coloring in. Haha! I did it! Biomech is happy about the purple and white, but a few people suggested purple. So... White on chest. Okay, white on chest. Yeah, sounds like my Pornhub searches. No, that's a filthy joke. That's a joke that Ed Gould wouldn't have liked. He probably had a filthy sense of humor. He might just not have shared it with me. But yeah, okay, white on chest. I don't know about that. I don't know about that, you guys. Yeah, I don't know. It's I feel like I don't like this line here. I think we're gonna go over that one. Hey, Mr. Mathemation is in the chat. Everyone, Mr. Mathemation, a long-time supporter. He's a regular on the Discord, the Patreon exclusive Discord. He's a good animator. He's a funny guy. He's a sweet guy. He's a tall guy. We like Mr. Mathemation, friend of the channel. Oh, okay. I think that works for our Liefeld type character. I don't know about the white though. Can we try yellow? It's tough, right? With that background, you kind of don't see it. I'll tell you, we'll leave that for the time being, and we'll come back to it. What about the belt, guys? Yeah, I'm not sure about the white either. Is the headgear gonna be maybe the secondary color? I feel we need to nail what the secondary color is. And how tall, says Rebecca Kartsmark. I think he's 18 feet tall. Let's go with a different background color. That might help us. 6'4". He's 6'4", guys. He's 6'4". Only on one side of his body. The other side is 5'3". It's a terrible affliction. I think I need to come up with what the other color of the straps or whatever is going to be. Maybe something like that for the straps. I don't know. Do you guys like that dark blue for the straps? I'm seeing dark red get thrown around. I'm hearing a rumor about the color dark red. I can tell a lot of you people in the chat are dudes because women are like maroon, crimson, scarlet. They actually have specific names, but a lot of guys just go dark red, dark purple. No, it's too dark. Yeah. Let me see what the chat says. Orange looks good on him. Well, maybe orange is the secondary color we've been looking for. I don't mind that. I don't mind it. Let's run with that for now. Does that look good? Does that look good? I actually quite like that. I think that's kind of cool. I mean, purple is a complementary color to yellow, and it's kind of close enough. I'm thinking of the straps. I don't like those straps. Maybe like that. I'm just gonna run with a couple of things, and if I see people in the chat go, Harry, what have you done? What have you done? We'll backtrack on it later, okay? So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna come up with gloves for him, which I think again could be orange. It could be orange or purple. Maybe the pouches blend in with the orange too much. I don't know. So we're just going to throw in purple for the gloves. And that will be that for the gloves. Well, we still got to do the shoulder pads. Dee 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 dee. Dee 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 dee. Dee 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 dee. Okay, I'm hiccuping here into the mic. That's not good. And I'm wondering if the shoulder pads should be orange or if we should go back to the chrome for the shoulder pads. Could try the chrome on the pads. And in fact, I think we will do that. And I'm sorry to anybody who's watching who's thinking, no, no, I don't like what it's turned into. It's like sometimes when you're watching Bob Ross and you're thinking, wow, this painting's coming along nice, and then he does something stupid to it, and you go, no, Bob, why? He usually makes it work, but there's like a brief period where you're looking at it thinking, I don't like what you've done with this, Bob. You've let me down. You've let the side down big time, Bob. My voice is breaking really bad today. I sound like the squeaky voiced teenager from The Simpsons. Bob. Okay. I think that works. This animation's so rough though. It's not good animation. Alright. Alright, well let's just get... I'm sorry, I'm totally ignoring the chat here. Let's finish off the katana. Which will draw, like, I don't know. Make it purple or something. No, that's too close to the gloves, darn it. Let's make it grey. How about that? Like a dark, deep grey. And now I'm thinking with the hair. I'm thinking make the hair white. That to me shouts Liefeld. That shouts Cable. I think I'm gonna make that call, guys. And I'm so sorry to any of you that I've ignored, because I know that you probably had lots of suggestions that I have not looked at. Let me see. Is there anything in the chat I could get to? Hey, Sam Gay. Thank you for coming by. Oof, no gun effects. Well, there are gonna be gun effects, okay? So you can take that oof and you can eat it. That's what you can do. There are gonna be gun effects up the wazoo, my friend. And let's okay, that's good, I think. And we gotta do, let me see, we gotta do the stuff on his cheeks. Oh, and I've not broken that apart. When you import animation from Toon Boom, you need to hit Control B until you can actually interact with it, which is annoying. We may get rid of these. I don't know if these mutton chops will actually do the trick. They're a little bit, I don't know, they sort of break up the shape of the head a little bit too much, I think. Yeah, come on, it's tricky to color. And then we've got the braid at the back of the head, which we will look at now. All right, cool. Oh boy, one more thing to color after this. One more frame. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, and we're nearly done. We're nearly done. Let's take a look at this disgusting creation we have made. Remember, everybody, I was trying my very best today to create something that fit with the Rob Liefeld style, the kind of insane, overly masculine, badly drawn guns, muscly, ridiculous shoulder pad type characters that he drew. So that's what we've gone with today, and this is what we've currently got. Blah! So there we go. It's a 2-hour stream, and I know that's not very good, but I'm intrigued to see if anybody has any suggestions. We could get rid of the hair, the sideburns. We could get rid of the braid. We keep the sideburns. We could get rid of his eye if we want, but we don't want to do that. We could get rid of his arms, but we don't want to do that either. So I think he's good the way he is. The only thing that's really remains to be included is, as our friend pointed out earlier, we need gun blasts. Which we're going to do very quickly. I imagine I'll gussy them up a lot for the final thing, but something like that. This is just to give you the loosest kind of impression. Bam, bam. I don't know. They need a little bit more of a shape to them. Blam, blam, blam. Blam, blam, blam. I'm making my own sound effects, Mum. Okay. So the effects are very, very rough here. We would never try to pass these off as finished in a million years. But that's the sort of thing we've ended up with. Bam, 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 bam. And of course, we'll have the character. Let's just do that now. We'll name all of the assets in our drive, in our file. We'll just call it because I don't like to spend time naming things. It's completely useless that, well, it's useless for me anyway that Flash has that feature. Let's grab it all, copy and paste it, and let's see where we are. Well, this is not really going to be good today, but we'll put it in as just a little placeholder. It's like it's not going to work at all. Not going to work at all today on today's stream, but something like okay. He's going to need to come in and stay there. Maybe he even comes in. Maybe we make him a bit smaller than that. Or maybe it's something else. Maybe I totally angle him in a different way and have him just leaping in a different way. I don't know. There's a lot of work that I need to do to bring him to life. He just comes in and then disappears. Okay, I think that I don't think that's really working. I may just have to tell you what, we'll flip it. Just flip it. No, let's not do that. That's not good. You don't want to do that. All right. This is my Hail Mary play. Maybe this will just work so much better if we just have the character. Obviously, we want him to go by faster than that. Okay, so there's a lot. What I'll probably end up doing... Oh, that looks crap. Alright, what I'll probably end up doing is having him dive between two things. Like maybe put two things in the background and having him dive between them. You know, or have him land, like, because he's just frozen right now in space, which obviously we don't want. But what we could do is take all of these frames and create a new layer and actually animate it and have the character follow some kind of arc where he starts off in, say, one position like that, comes up to be here, so it's, you know, like that, and then falls down. So it's a case of sort of, obviously that's very, very rough, but that way if we have different layers in the background, the characters could sort of appear and then disappear. Do is extend that middle bit out. And then we go and make sure that it's all synced up properly. You guys get the idea. And now that's kind of a layer within a layer. We could have some kind of effect where, as Chris goes past, This is not good. The animation's not playing. That's not how we fix that. You know, that kind of thing. Like the character, by the time that Chris gets to the other side of the screen, the character's, you know, already fallen down. That would be much, much better, I think, if the character's rotating and falling. A little bit easier on the eye. Anyway, you guys get the idea. I think there's going to be so much going on because we've got this other character coming in. We have the Japanese schoolgirl as well. And I like the fact that we have a stiff character that sort of feels like he's from a different universe. But we can't just have him pop into the screen and clash with other things. So I may tweak the colors. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. Oh boy, that's a little bit of a frustrating thing. But that's what you get when you do it live, guys. That's what you get when you do it live. There's always going to be some kind of issue with things because they never quite come to fruition in exactly the way you want them to. Anyway, oh, somebody said give him a jetpack. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Axma's laughing hard. Why are you laughing? Don't laugh at me. Yeah, it kind of works with the falling and shooting. I agree. I agree. Definitely, we can make it work. Could even just have him. I mean, if we just have a rock here, you know, if there's an element in the landscape that I draw in, he'll just disappear behind it. It'll totally work. So I think I'm going to call it there tonight, everybody. Thank you for coming by. You're excellent people. I hope you had a fun enough time. It was a short stream. We didn't get a whole lot done in as far as sort of ambition. We did a very simple character and obviously didn't do a fantastic job animating him. But I think it's going to be an impressive shot. We have a lot of elements obviously moving. Stuff is currently being cleaned up and animated right now by my assistant Yap, including our flying hero, who's the other character he's doing? Oh yeah, the sort of spy noir type character, the 7-Eleven. I'm currently going to be finishing up this character, who's our sort of horror Junji Ito schoolgirl type character. I animated her today, so that's not the sound she makes, okay? She doesn't make an old-timey Frankenstein roar. So I will get back to that. Thank you to Chris for being the major patron behind this. He's, of course, commissioned this intro for his show. Thank you to No Snog for the super chat. This is for you. 10-minute challenge 2 streams ago. I love your style, voices, and sense of comic timing. You're a wizard, Harry. Hey, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate the super chat so much, guys. I thought for a minute you were asking me to do a new 10-minute super chat challenge there because I can't possibly do that when I have dinner nearly ready. So I'm going to go enjoy my dinner with Joyce. Thanks to everyone for coming by tonight. Axma said he's not laughing at me, he's laughing at Pouchman. Well, good. Pouchman's hilarious. Wild Blood, I think we said the name was. And what a wild, bloody guy he is. Look at him there. Liefeld, eat your heart out. I'm coming for your spot. Take care, everyone.